In this demonstration or video, we're going to go ahead and talk about the clock display and number display demonstration that was covered in the previous PowerPoint presentation as part of this lecture. Let's first start about number display. Number display is pretty basic. It has a limit and a value. It has a number display method that takes a parameter. The number display method is exactly what? Because these are the same, it's the constructor. Takes in what the rollover limit is. So you can set that to anything you want, 24, 60, it's up to you. And then the initial value is 0 for it to start at. So the constructor sets the initial state of all the values. Here we have a getter, get value, return value. Some people add this dot, that's up to you. Public int get value goes in there. Coming down farther, we have a get display value, another getter or accessor method. If the value is less than 10, it pads it with a 0, otherwise it goes with what it has. This is very much the same as what we've been seeing and we saw throughout the lecture. Set value, this is a setter or a mutator. In this case, if replacement value is valid, it follows within the numbers that are acceptable, it allows it to move through. Notice there's no else clause. You begin end brace, which technically is not necessary but is helpful to put in here. And then the final mutator is increment. Increment equals value plus 1 modulo limit. Question to ask yourself, why are these parentheses here? What would happen if they weren't? Well, it would do 1 modulo limit, then it would do the addition. So this ensures order of operations is followed as you want it to. We can go ahead and run this, but there's not a whole lot to see at this point. I would key in a value and have it get set, etc. There's a second version of the code that you can download from Pearson that actually has a display. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's something for you to work with. From the clock display. Clock display has a constructor, just like we saw. In this case, it's kind of interesting. 2 constructors. I've talked about that before. This constructor, I take that back, sorry about that. It does. It has 2 constructors. Clock display has one with no parameters, so it's going to set it on its own, or it has one in which you set the values when it comes in with hour and minute to get the initial time set. So here's an example of using 2 constructors, and based on the signature, it would know which one to run. Time tick. The purpose of this one is just to increase the time once it just rolled over. So minutes on increment it calls. Then once it hits the rollover, it does an hour dot increment. So once it sees that minutes equals 0, it assumes that a rollover occurred. Set time, this is used for setting the initial time, hour and minute. Get time and update display. Update display in this case is just basic. It's going to go ahead and give you a string that would go out. If you're the calling method, you would then do a println maybe of update display, just as an example. Okay? This is a fairly straightforward, relatively easy to use class. Spend the time and go through it. Make sure that you fully understand it. These concepts can be used in the homework assignments as we're working through as a way of gaining knowledge or helping you gain in direction. Don't forget you can compile from here or within. Let me go ahead and do that to compile, and you're done. Okay? With that, that's the end of this particular demonstration. Hopefully you gained some knowledge and this was helpful.